There's nothing that special about me being a tech YouTuber. I'm just one of many. I identify as a power user in the world of, many things you could possibly identify as an iPhone user. I'm a power user. I use every single feature on my iPhone. I do not compromise. I don't believe in sacrificing anything. How do we keep every important setting on while still maximizing your battery life? That's kind of impossible when you think about it. But let's see how far we can push our luck. Alright then, walk with me. Actually, you shouldn't be walking while watching, so pick one. You know what, I'll just do the picking. One, within the system of your iPhone, that's the UI and UX. Use dark mode as well as you can. Yeah, on iPhones with OLED displays, that excludes the XR, the SEs, the 11s, and every single unsupported iPhone that's there besides the X. You want to use dark mode because it shuts off unneeded pixels on your iPhone. It prevents those pixels you don't need from lighting up. Yeah, that's the way OLED technology works. I mean, most of you are familiar with that by now. Come on. You could Google what OLED is anyways. Organic light emitting diode and every BS there is about it, but that's just what it is. When you use dark mode, for instance, in settings, you'd see there is a part of your display that's just black. Yeah. And that black is actually off on OLED. It's LCD that shows that bluish looking backlight you see on the display. So it keeps every unneeded part black while showing color or whatever on the parts that need to show you something. It's like the always on display, for instance, on the 14 Pros and 15 Pros and 16 Pros. You can see when you turn off wallpaper, you can see it's just plain pitch black except the notifications and whether your media player and the time, the clock on the lock screen. That's what dark mode does, and that's why you can use always on display without seeing any big impact in your battery life thanks to that. The next setting you should look into is called background app refresh. Yeah, it's in settings general. I mean, it's a function that lets your apps constantly refresh themselves and keep asking themselves if there's any notification or any change in the background, even when you don't want them to be doing that. Which means when you go out with the intention of having a full day's battery life, some random apps you haven't even used in a week begin to check themselves for notifications. I mean, that's just waste of battery, isn't it? And let me tell you guys one funny thing. I once talked about background app refresh, I think a year ago, and people were like, I'm limiting what the OS is meant for, that when you turn off background app refresh, it prevents your apps from giving you notifications. And that's actually a lie. I've used iPhones for almost 6-7 years now and been turning it on and off for years, and I've never missed a notification. Just like you wouldn't miss clicking my sub button. In Siri settings, when you tell your iPhone, when you turn off the toggle that says Hey Siri or just plain old Siri, Hey Siri or Siri, like, it makes your phone keep listening to the background 24/7 for the word Hey Siri. It just keeps the mic and its ears open and just waiting for it to say Hey Siri for it to respond. So you can imagine how much system resource and battery life goes into keeping the mic on 24/7 to listen to Hey Siri. Not you Siri, come on. Or Siri. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you don't even use Siri that much for anything that important. So why not just turn it off and add a couple minutes of battery life? What do you think? You can always summon Siri the side button. Come on, it's not that bad. I do that. In the App Store settings, you want to prevent in-app content from constantly loading. That's very similar to background app refresh in this case, but kind of unnecessary. I don't even know what Apple thought when they were bringing that feature. Like, okay, we should just let new apps, set up themselves in the background. Come on, that's the point of having an Apple Silicon in my phone. Setting up newly downloaded apps shouldn't be breaking the sweat, right? It should just set up like a normal phone. So why do I need doing that in the background? Come on, no, we're not going to let that happen. Also, you want to leave auto downloads to Wi-Fi only. Why is that? At least it pushes all the headache to the Wi-Fi router and it leaves your phone out of it. Your phone just takes in the data and installs the app. Also turn off in-app ratings. Yeah. Apart from making a particular function run in the background and consume power, it's very inconvenient. Imagine playing a Clash Royale match and then just when you're about to throw the rockets that decides your victory, you get a pop-up. Rate my app. Come on. Not going to happen. I would even say it would have made more sense if Apple could integrate that into the dynamic island. They literally integrated every single pop-up that would interrupt you, like the alarms, the clock, the battery, the low battery, especially into the island. So they should put the rating into the island also, like a little toggle that will show you 5 stars. You could just quickly hit the one you want and then you send the data to the app store. They could do that. Alright, let's talk about locations. So in location settings, go over to system settings and turn off every single system setting that needs a notification that you don't really need. You can't tell me you need all of them. You don't. Come on. Prove it. Okay, prove that you need that one you don't want to turn off. Of course you can prove it. After doing that, scroll down and go over to significant locations. That's one of the major culprits that take your battery's resource and slow down your phone and stuff like that. You know what that significant location does? It takes detailed logs of every single place you go to. Yeah. So you can imagine your phone is trying to insult, it's trying to tell you that your brain is not good enough to remember where you were last week. You need your phone to tell you that. Apart from that, if you are going out to do something you shouldn't be doing, your partner can tell because they'll just go into your phone and check your significant locations. I should have been doing this, but apparently I am promoting, the wrong kind of thing. But turn it off. In this case, for the fact that it takes significant battery life, we have to kill that, yeah, regardless of who it's going to hurt in the process. But my bad. My problem here is the battery, not the truth or justice. For number 6, quite short, make sure every single third-party app that has requested for location services in the past, you can scroll down and check all of them. Make sure they are all set to while using. They don't always need a notifications or else they are going to sip your battery life like sipping a piece of margarita. Also, turn off precise locations for the ones that don't need that. You can leave that on for Apple Maps and Google Maps. Imagine your banking app needing your precise location. Hello, never. In privacy and security, check out fitness settings. If you don't use that, because it's on by default, if you don't use that, turn it off. Yeah, it just takes your footsteps and checks how many steps you climb, and it's always running 24/7. And that takes your battery, like it or not. So if you do not need to, if you don't even use the health app to do anything, or if you have an Apple Watch, your Apple Watch could do that for you, but there is no point leaving that on when it takes battery life, and you can just turn it off and you will not even notice, unless you really use it. If you use this, then leave it on. Ever heard of the word iCloud push? Okay, iCloud push is something that is integrated into every single system app that uses the iCloud service, and it lets the app keep asking iCloud any changes. It keeps requiring iCloud and trying to update. Update. From the way I describe it, you can tell that takes a shit ton of battery life, right? Both your calendar, your contacts, your mail, every single iCloud service. Like I said, let's leave photos out of it. Photos is not included in iCloud push. So go over to any single part of what I just mentioned that uses iCloud. It could be contacts, it could be your mail, it could be your notes, and switch iCloud push off. Set it to fetch automatically. That way you only get to do that when your phone is connected to power and Wi-Fi. And it makes no difference to me because I have used both at alternating times, and my data always was synced when I needed it to be. In sound settings, we use the haptic keyboard and we love it. I love the fact that I can just turn off the sound and feel the haptics when I click on the keyboard. Very nice, but it's a battery taker. Even Apple tells you themselves that it would significantly impact battery life. Exactly. So do not turn that off. But I'll tell you it takes your battery, but we like it so much. Even I wouldn't turn mine off. But like it or not, it's one of the things you should know about. So if you want absolute battery saving, you can turn it off. But no, leave it on. Let's enjoy the haptics a little bit more. For number 10, in Siri settings, look for Siri suggestions when you scroll down a bit. Those are stuff that run in the background. Siri keeps scanning every single thing you do, the kind of apps you use, the kind of music you listen to, the kind of apps you even launch. So it tracks your every movement and it generates suggestions to assist you from that. So you can tell that takes another shit ton of battery life. The 11th, it's quite significant, but at the same time it's not. Use a dark wallpaper if you can. When I say dark, I mean dark with pitch black patches on it. Not like Instagram dark mode or Threads dark mode dark. No, dark like OLED dark. So if you have an XR11, this one doesn't count. You can just skip to the other parts. But if you have an OLED display, use a dark wallpaper that exposes the OLED part of the display. Yeah, because that's going to help you. You spend a lot of time going to your home screen. You spend a lot of time on that home screen. So you can imagine using a wallpaper that lights up every single pixel on the iPhone and using a wallpaper that lights off only the parts of the wallpaper that have a little color and also the app icons. So definitely you can tell over a long period of time there would be significant battery differences in those two scenarios I just described. Bonus tip, I should probably tell you how to charge your phone. So keep the battery between 20% and 85%. Why did I say that? Your lithium ion battery does not like extremes, whether the high extremes or the low extremes. High extremes like 100% and low extremes like 10%, 5%. It fights for its life at that point. Why do you think most devices, power banks, laptops, mobile phones from the box, they all come always in the middle? Think about that. They don't come filled up or drained out. So your lithium ion battery does not like extremes. Keep it between 20% and 80 or 85%. If you have the battery charging limiting function on your 15 and 16 series, good for you. If you don't, you can use Twix, Nugget and Misaka to get that. Yeah, but find a way to not charge your phone to 100% on the dot and to not drain it beyond 15% at worst.